Good morning, bakers. Happy Saturday. I am still laughing, not because of the serious nature of abuse. We have the proof. It's not a problem. We now know that there's an open investigation. We will provide all of the proof that we have concerns of. And we know the facts that an officer isn't going to come in there and tell you exactly what you're charged with, what he's observed. He is in there taking an information is what it's called. So he's in there gathering information, and most likely the caller asked to remain anonymous, in which case when Ursula tries to go and get the report, that information will be redacted. She is making actual threats towards this person, and if the information is not redacted, that person does need to, be very, very proactive in getting an anti-harassment order, get the paperwork all ready so that when it begins, you will be able to go into a court and you'll be able to, probably you live a few states away, but I don't know, because it could be a neighbor. It could be somebody local. How does she know? How does she know it isn't a neighbor who's heard that awful? Who knows? It could be somebody who's, seen her in the past. I don't know. Of course, it could be any one of the 10,000 of us or so who've seen her freaking manhandle, slap, and otherwise abuse those animals. Rest in peace, Bella. So, her way of, the LBL way of raising animals is to teach them to piss and shit all over the floor and feed them the exact wrong diet. If there's something at the Dollar Tree, great. That's pretty much the degree of LBL School of Veterinary, which is why all the animals die. Now, she then stated that Bella was 14, deaf and blind, and and I filmed it too, and you guys gave me this card. This guy isn't responding, and then afterwards, she said that her lady parts were warm because she said he was kind of cute. Like, I am sure. I mean, I totally felt the vibe that he was going to ask you out or about, like, I totally saw he was so into you. What the? Ugh, I'm sure the poor guy went out and took a freaking hazmat shower, like, bleh, bleh, and washed his eyeballs. So, anywho, he is taking information, which means an active investigation is opened, which means any and all that have seen live videos of her manhandling, otherwise neglecting. I mean, we won't even talk about what happened to poor Lizzie Balls. That just bothers me to this day. Like, you do not give a bearded dragon live mealworms. You don't give mealworms, period. Okay? Their bodies cannot digest an exoskeleton. Okay? So you wouldn't give them dead. You would not give them live because they cannot digest them. They will, in fact, eat the beardy from the inside out. So, I was kind enough to put in places where she could easily read the information about how to care for beardies. Okay? There's no way she didn't see it. And she claims to be an expert and, reads everything before she gets these animals. So she's an expert on she's an expert on everything. Well, the number one thing with the beardy is that you don't feed it mealworms. Not live, not dead, not one. Okay? So what'd she do? In her infinite knowledge, not only did she say that she could feel its female essence and, you can see these bulging freaking balls. I guess maybe that is like her looking in a mirror. Bada bang, boom. Anywho. Do not feed a bearded dragon one mealworm. Well, LBL likes to freaking copy everybody, right? but she has to put her special twisted way of following somebody so that it's the opposite of what you should do. So she sees somebody giving a different reptile, not a beardy, a mukbang, just like she likes to have a mukbang. I think it's mukbang, but I think it's pronounced mukbang. So anyway, she's like, I want Lizzie to be just like me and eat as much as me, so I'm going to give Lizzie a mukbang too, because I saw on the YouTube somebody else gave a mukbang to their beardy, and it ate 1,000 of them, so I'm going to give mine 1,001. Something to that effect. You know, at this rate, I think I tell 95% of the facts. Maybe 92. I don't know. You figure it out. So anyway, she goes on, she sees this, and she's so inspired. Does not realize that it's not a bearded dragon that the other lizard ate. Okay? There's no way that the other lizard is doing very well, I'm sure. But anyway, it's not dead like Lizzie Balls. Rest in peace, Lizzie Balls, with Bella. Hope you're hopping the colors of the Rainbow Bridge. With Green Bean, Lizzie 1, Lizzie 2, Cow, Moo Moo, and all of the others that have passed before. Anywho. So, she did this mukbang with Lizzie Balls, with chopsticks on the table in which she was making Etsy things that people would put in their ears after they'd been in her hamburger of an earlobe. She makes one for herself that's exactly the same and then sells one exactly like it. Yeah, right. So anyway, I'm sure that anybody that's why her Etsy shop is closed, because anybody who would put that in their earlobe probably had their earlobe fall off, or they're very sick with salmonella. Anyway, I digress. Anyway, she sat Lizzie Balls down on her nasty table with all the skin flakes, and with chopsticks shoved 1,000 live mealworms down Lizzie Balls' throat. Not enough that she was playing with Lizzie Balls like it was a squishy toy that a 4-year-old would manhandle. So then when those mealworms were eating Lizzie Balls from the inside out, she starts out with, he's brumenting. Oh, yeah, he's brumenting. Nah, he's getting eaten from the inside out. His color ain't good. That's not brumentation. I'm sorry to tell ya. So then she sat there and wanted to educate the world, because she's an expert on brumentation. Yeah, we know brumentation, and we know what it looks like when something is dying, and Lizzie Balls was dying. Okay? So, what do you know? Lizzie Balls died. Now, whenever one of her animals dies due to her negligence, she says, she realized that she couldn't give it a good enough home, so she gave it to somebody else. In fact, she will go to the depths of going and posting fake ads on Craigslist, because she knows that we watch there, and we have warned the reptile community, because they are a very tight-knit community, and they did make the mistake of interacting with her at first, because with her tattoos and such, she tried to infiltrate that group. That was quickly shut down when we provided them with the proof of what she was doing, and she was basically not welcome at their events. We also had somebody warning them about how she was stealing from events when she stole those mink tails that she gave Bella or Pom Pom. Going and shoplifting from a vendor is the lowest form of evil, because those vendors are out there. They don't have any money. They're not getting rich. They have their own crafted wares that they're out there trying to give somebody else so that they can have their own art therapy, if you will, something that she's supposedly so familiar with. Because she stole it because she didn't agree with it. Oh. Okay. So you don't agree with makeup is why you're stealing all, you klepto. But anyway, you know her. She's so eco-friendly. Wasn't she a vegetarian for one of the stomachs too? I don't know. Each stomach has a different diet. I forget which one. But anyway, so this all goes back to her special way of animal husbandry with expert LBL. That's what happened to Lizzie Balls, okay? We won't even speculate about Moo and Cow Cow and how she was so obsessed with the air fryer soon after cooking what looked to be maybe chicken. Anyway, in her school of husbandry, she does not believe in vets. No, she does not believe in vet care. Because if she did, she would know that Chihuahuas begin their senior life at 12, and they easily live 12 to 20 years. And there are ones that have been well taken care of that live past the age of 20. Okay? Well, they can be blind from cataracts. That is something that is a managed condition with a veterinarian. It is not common to be deaf. And the way to tell if a deaf dog is deaf is that it doesn't make any sign of waking up when you come into a room. Now, we all witnessed Bella shuddering, which, okay, she could shiver like a Chihuahua does. I'll give you that. But cowering in a corner and barking defensively and scared, yeah, that dog had no hearing problem at all, okay? She wasn't blessed with deafness like she should have been, because having to listen to what you freaking spewed at her. And they are very sensitive dogs. They have a personality like humans. They do have the capability of being jealous. You can Google that. So like if somebody were to get a new dog and then act like the new dog was their favorite and start ignoring the other one, just like what's happening with Friday and Pom Pom in real time, that's what happened to Bella when she got Pom Pom. And Bella got no more attention. Bella was supposed to stay in their bed. Get in the bed. God, I'm so glad we don't have to hear that anymore. But anyway, that dog wasn't deaf. She had no proof that Bella was blind, okay? And so what if she was? Like most animals, they adapt to blindness very well because they don't want to seem vulnerable to other animals by knowing that they're blind. So like they have a blind cat sanctuary that you can like go on YouTube and watch, and I suggest it, the Blind Cats Sanctuary, and donate to it. It's actually really cool to watch because like these cats, they behave in the same way that any cat that you know is a seeing cat does. You can't tell they're blind. Bella is the same. If she was blind, which I don't believe that she was, I believe that probably she had cataracts, which Chihuahuas get. Okay? But she wants to act like such the expert, and oh yeah, well, she was 14, deaf and blind, oh, very, very tragic. I filmed it, and you guys sent me a real nice card. Oh, shut up. So you took it to the pound, and they supposedly put it down. I really hope that they just, that somebody put her on, a last resort thing, or sent her to, somewhere where she could be loved at least once in her life for her final years. One can always hope. And of course, then they would send something like, oh, thank you, to cover for the fact that maybe they give it a good home. I like to think that. Chihuahuas do shiver. And so that's why you see little animals wearing outfits, and that's kind of where that whole thing began. But it's because Chihuahuas have that lower body temperature, so they're cold all the time. So I never once saw her dress Bella. If she had concerns about Bella being deaf and blind, she never once comforted her for any of those conditions. In fact, sat there and screamed at her. If indeed you do believe that your dog is deaf, why do you scream at it? Why would you sit there and scream at a dog you believe is deaf? Doesn't make much sense, does it? She knew damn well that dog wasn't deaf. Okay? Look at the facts. Okay? Look at what you see. Master of illusion she is, eh? Learned a lot while traveling with the circus as the bearded lady anyway. Had to sip my decadent coffee. Oh, and I make my own coffee too because I don't have oh God, what do you even call it? That chat that she gets. Oh, pay for my coffee. It's not enough that I'm on Section 8 and SSI and food stamps and every other friggin' welfare program she can find. It's just not enough. So, that being said, sorry, I lost my train of thought. I just get so disgusted with what I see and think of when I think of this. She is now trying to make a joke about, oh, you idiots, you believe what you see on my live. Come on, I was laying on the bed, hitting the bed, not actually hitting the dogs. What you saw is me hitting the bed. Okay. Why would you hit the bed? I'll play your little game. What the hell did the bed do to you? The same thing salads do when you stab them viciously? So anyway, so you got a little blind and deaf dog and you're hitting the bed. Why? If you had a dog that was deaf and blind, would you do anything of a violent nature next to it that would cause it to startle? No, you wouldn't. But just because she thought that people would take that out of text, she took that down. Oh, come on. She was in one of her Ambien confessionals. She can't remember anything she did on Ambien. Remember the night that she overdosed on Ambien? Yeah, the state of Massachusetts won't give her any more Ambien. It's marked in her medical chart. That's why she won't go certain places for health, because part of it follows her, which says, they'll say you have an allergy if you overdosed on a certain drug. She's not allowed to have Ambien. Anyway, who knew that she had Burke still hidden there? Huh. So anyway, supposedly Burke slept through this whole debacle with her letting that cute officer in and getting the highest grades. And, oh, yes, she doesn't care what they say. She's, come on. You're triggered and then you're threatening the person who did this. You're threatening them in front of an officer of the law. You have now made threats in front of somebody who can testify in the court as an officer of the court. Okay? It's not very smart. Then, let's talk about how, let's go down memory lane. Let's do that for a second. Remember when she pretended like the car was repoed and did her little begathon and was crying and everything, but only crying when she had viewers. I love that when she sits there and storms around and then looks in the camera to see if there's viewers, and then it's like, I'm having a panic attack. And then she'll see if any more viewers are there. Yeah. So then she's doing this whole Free Britney act yesterday. Oh, leave me alone. I just want to be left alone. I just want to be left alone. Why won't anybody leave me alone? Check for viewers. Okay. You want to be left alone? Stop abusing animals. Stop it. Don't get another animal. Surrender the animals you have to a shelter so they can get the love and attention and veterinary care that they need. Okay? And get the Sam Hill off of YouTube. Get off any platform where you can beg, because what you are doing is getting income that you are concealing from the government. Okay? So, when you are on SSI for your mental condition, you cannot have assets, as in money. You can't have an income over a certain amount. Okay? She's going to say, oh, yes, I can make a certain amount. I report it. Oh, bull. Because that would negate your Section 8 and your food stamps. Don't tell me. Don't tell me that you're honest, because you're not. So who do you know that is on SSI, on Section 8, on full welfare, having welfare daycare for the kid, and going on cruise after cruise after cruise? Living on those cruise ships. On the cruise ships. Oh, and then when you fell on that dance floor making the ass out of yourself. Oh, did you sue that cruise line too? Did you get a free cruise out of it? A free cruise out of it? So Cowell could come along and watch Burke? So Burke could wander around all night? Well, you got drunk and made a fool out of yourself with attractive men that were married? Oh, that's right. You said that you pleased those married men. Yeah, they'd walk around the corner and LBL would, eat a hot dog. So, and then they'd go back to their wives. So, you were the sewer rat of the cruise ships? The sea lizard? Not a lot lizard. Very close to a lot lizard, but a sea lizard? Sewer rat? Anyhow, that's how she found Goonie. So, getting back to my point. Money manager means embezzler, okay? When she put the money that she got from suing the YMCA, that was for Burke, okay? That would be in a trusted account because Burke was injured. So that would be in a protected money account until he was 18 years of age. Because she had a family member who's an attorney do the lawsuit. He did it so apparently it was interest bearing, which usually it is not, but it was put away until Burke was 18. Burke was supposed to receive that money at age 18, okay? So she blames her mother for spending that. Her mother was under the impression that Lori Beth was going to be paying her back for fronting all of the cruise money that she did not have, okay? So Carol was taking money from other sources and would write it so that then it was against the money that Burke was supposed to get when he was 18, okay? So then when, Carol's 80 something and Burke turned 18, that money isn't there. Well, Carol wasn't going and buying makeup and everything every day and getting a new outfit for the interviews for a job that's never going to happen because you go and conduct yourself like an idiot. Anyway, hey, for fun, Google her. Google her. Just do a quick Google and some of those interview outfits will come up, and so will the Gossip Bakery, and then you see if you would hire her. Because that's the first thing that jobs do now. That's why they want you to write down everything. They vet you. They vet you through the internet to see what they're looking at, to see if you'd be a liability through the country or to the company, and see where you how you behave online, which is why she wouldn't get a job. But anyway, those cruises are where Burke's money went. Carol did not steal anybody's money. You blew through his money, borrowing against it, telling Carol that you just pay her back because you were going to get this money and you were going to get that money, and you're a real estate agent, so you can afford it. You can get it. You were on SSI. You're on full welfare. Going on the cruise ship. So, you raised your son to be in there in that apartment today to come out and say that whoever reported Big Mama for animal abuse is a piece of shit. Probably poor. Probably living poor without any money. Yeah, that defines a loser. Well, you know what? Then look at your mother and look at yourself. Because the two of you beg from strangers and take from vulnerable adults and you leech off the system. And now it's intergenerational. Now, if you're on SSI, you're on welfare, how in the heck did you fund a 90-day fiance such as Goon? We all know from that popular show, it ain't cheap and you have to have a sponsor. So, willing to bet that Carol, Mommy, was the sponsor to Goon. Okay? Now, once she finally trapped Goon into a child, and then was the biggest baby during labor, wouldn't push and sat there, I need pain meds, wouldn't push. So, I mean, she wouldn't do anything in labor to actively help it because she wanted the drugs. She didn't want to participate in the labor. So, of course, she had to have a C-section. Not saying that people who have a C-section are lazy, not at all. But in this case, with LBL, and I'm referring to specifically, she had to have a C-section because she would not participate in any of the birthing process. And I was given this information about what it, okay, I'm not even going to say. But she sat there like a whiny cow that needed to have the vet come and like rack it up with a freaking chain and tie it up to the backhoe and pull it out, kind of. It was just horrible for all involved. So she had to have a C-section so she could lay around more and moosh more drugs, you know, and then her son became her money token. So when Goonie wouldn't obey her incessant narcissistic needs, he stood up for himself and he was like, no. And he said no to her, and nobody says no to her. Okay? You say no to her, that's grounds for her to come and kill you with her little pink gun. Okay? Once again, remember what Freud says about pink guns and what guns are. So she's going to come get him with her little pink thing. So then she made up this crap that Goonie was going to kidnap Burke. And so she kept Burke away from his own father with the lie that he was going to kidnap him, and had Carol all convinced and her coworkers all convinced that, you know, Burke was going to be abducted and all this. It's because she didn't want to lose her welfare chip. Because when you have a child and you're on welfare, you get more money. And then when you have a child with special needs, oh, you get more. So then she went and set Burke up. Like, she would go and like rant and rave at him, corner him like a small animal. Then when the poor kid yelled back, she tape recorded it, took it to a doctor, got a diagnosis of a behavior and conduct disorder on Burke. So then Burke got SSI as well on her, for her. So she got SSI for Burke, SSI for her. Welfare benefits for her, welfare benefits for Burke. Okay, Burke didn't see any of this. Okay, Burke had to basically raise his own. He's basically, I don't know, like the Jungle Book kind of thing. He had to raise himself, like raised by the jungle. Okay, he was not raised correctly. I believe that he has potential if he stays far away from her. But if they stay together, it's going to be like that mother-son duo in New York that had those tenants. Remember that? Gosh, they shared a bed too, just like them. Huh. Okay, I didn't do the Bates Motel noise very good, but that was like supposed to be like the stabbing thing anyway. Anywho, I digress. So, Carol is, I don't know. I don't think Carol looks alive to me. I don't know that Carol actually is alive. I mean, it could be one of those more and more it really is sounding like that mother-son duo from New York. And, Carol may or may not be alive, may or may not be the money manager / embezzler / enabler / sponsor for Goonie. Anyway, she took Burke away from Goonie, in his formative years, which is sad because Goonie is a Turkish man, and for a Turkish man to basically not be there for his own son is unheard of. Anybody that I know of the Turkish descent is amazing towards their family. I've never heard of them not. I mean, they're just like many foreign families, like in a way that we used to be here too, you know, where we would live as an extended family, and have, you know, your kids raised by multi-generations, and then, you know, the middle would be the sandwich generation taking care of the younger and the older, which became too much of a burden when women had to go to work. So that kind of got lost, but it wasn't lost in a lot of the true ethnic cultures like I believe that the Turkish are. So I think that it really hurt both Burke and Goonie that they could not be together because of LBL's antics. So not only did she use him and exploit him as a token for money and benefits, she robbed him of a good childhood and the beauty of having a father. And basically, because she didn't have a father, she wanted to make sure her own son didn't either. It's just sick. Sick and wrong. And it's sick and wrong to then teach your child that if somebody comes in and has a concern about somebody that you love, that then that person should be harassed, and we know what she's going to say. She's going to do death threats. And I've gotten some emails today that say that she said some terrible things about Jules. She does this because she knows that Jules is across the pond, so we can't get her for, you know, interstate, like federal harassment or anything. She knows what she's doing. She's aware of the rules, but she chooses to ignore them, like the definition of a psychopath. So anyway, if you see those threats, if you hear those threats, please mark the time and report those. Those videos with any threats definitely need to be taken down. I am very, very sorry, Jules, that our country is so messed up that people say these things and can get away with it, and that certain things that should be against the law are not. And I'm very sorry, very, very sorry for the things I've heard that she's said. They're unspeakable, and she needs to be demonetized. Absolutely, 1000% she needs to be demonetized. So we've got projects, peeps. She says she won't ever go down. Oh, she's down. She's down for the count. Let's just keep her there, okay? And we're keeping her there because of the proven abuse, the proven fraud, and the continuing threats and the continuing abuse. And the truth and the facts are on our side. I'm not worried about that at all, and neither should you be. But it does take us working together as a team to make sure that the truth and the facts are out there. And now's the time. We've been waiting for a long time. And that person who was courageous enough to make this report, I want you to know that we're behind you 1000%. What you did was not tedious, and it was not a waste of the officer's time. Neither did he say so. She kept trying to put words in his mouth, trying to make a joke out of it. He wasn't. He was very professional. He was doing his job. He heard the said cough, okay? And he didn't comment. She commented. Oh yeah, little dogs do that. He's an animal officer who said he has a dog of his own, okay? He knows what's normal and he knows what's not. He's conducting an information. He's information gathering, okay? Not a closed investigation. You did the right thing. Now, Years before she put Bella down, she was talking about putting Bella down, and people offered to take Bella over. And again, people reached out in a nice way, like, hey, no judgment, just let me come and get her. And she would say things like she's going to leave her in the desert, leave her behind when she'd move, etc., etc. So it's a long history, and it's starting for Bella. And in so doing this report, you probably saved Bella's life. And you really put her on the radar in a way that nobody ever has. So thank you for doing what you did. She comes for you. She comes for all of us. Okay? We've got your back. Please feel free to reach out to me and get ready to keep a detailed log of the harassment. And she has a history. She has SSI because of her violent threats towards herself and others. She's been involuntarily held on psych holds in Boston. That's why she has her SSI. Okay? Let's not forget that. So she makes violent threats again. She has a long history of this. If she gets taken in for those threats, those animals go into a shelter. Okay? And maybe that's what needs to happen. She'll of course call Burke and ask Burke to watch them. I don't know how that would work out, but I don't think he would, because he's got college, right? But he can't figure out how to make a tip. I don't know. Is he 22, 23? And he's never had to know how to calculate a tip? I don't get that. My kids knew that from like age 14 when they started going out with their friends, and knew how to separate part of their bill and be responsible for their part of the tip and a little more for dealing with them as kids. But I don't know. Maybe her child rearing skills are about as good as her animal raising skills, right? Just hope to God that Burke doesn't shit and piss all over the floors for the sake of the apartment people. Anyway, please share the truth. Share the truth and the facts far and wide. Okay? Working together means that we work together. We are working together. So, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for the love. I love it. It keeps me going. And enjoy this weekend. It is the fishing opener. For I think like all states, at least it is here on the West Coast. So, I don't know. If it is, enjoy some fishing. All right.